As Jim pointed out, we do work together on quite a few engagements, and sales and marketing are very strategic partners, of course. His first complaint usually is, we need more leads in this organization, and the pressure's on to get those leads. Rather than kind of giving a general overview of digital marketing today, I know earlier we started with some questions about what do you think digital marketing is. It's a huge category, of course. And who said it was anything online? Yeah, I mean, really, that's probably the best descriptor. But it's anything electronic as well. I would say even videos that are shot and no one puts them on a DVD anymore, but if you did, that would also be digital marketing. So to try to turn this into a workshop, to get deeper into a topic, I picked one. And I picked one that I thought that everybody in the room could benefit from the most with a single exposure. And that is a way to look at your website in terms of what makes people convert to a lead or to a sale. What does it take to make your website rise above your competitors? Some simple things, some simple tests, checklists, some rubrics that you can apply to your site. Now, it takes a little bit for us to get into that because the internet has a kind of a mom and pop feel to it, right? I can go and set up my own Google account, start running my own ads. I've heard of SEO and all these different things, and so business owners get quite obsessed with what they've heard of and pursue it hotly. Whether it's the right thing or not for them, they don't know. But they've heard of a few things and they'll clutch onto it. Same thing with their website. They love their website. That's the picture they picked, and that's the words that they wrote, and so it's difficult to get people to look at a website with objective eyes. So again, my name is Joe Schaefer, and the company that I founded here in Austin, Motiliti, is a web marketing company. This is our headquarters on Shoal Creek, very near here. I founded it 9 years ago. We have a team of about 10 or so people that are on the production, website design, programmers, video editing, content writers, SEO, digital marketing people. We also have a list of 10 or so actors locally that you probably would recognize many of them because they were staples in the Austin market on TV, on the news channels a decade or more ago. And we use those people to make videos, to use them for explainer videos, spokesperson videos. So we have a green screen studio in-house. I founded Motiliti with my co-founder and partner, Scott Martin. He leads the kind of tip of the spear client engagements and oversees operations. I oversee the client delivery and digital strategy. Just a little background on myself. Yes, my background, I started in science, and I've got a picture of Thomas Edison up there because as a boy, that was my all-time hero. Biggest moment of my life was when I wrote a letter to Menlo Park to the Thomas Edison Foundation or whatever, and they sent me back a picture in the mail of him, and that's the picture. And my biggest thrill has always been to discover underlying principles behind things in our world and distill them down to the simplest expression, to understand it at the simplest level. And then I just never felt like it was complete. The thrill wasn't complete unless I shared it with other people. Somehow that was part two of what my mission was. And so that's what's made me an educator as well. At UT, I studied the neural basis of behavior and personality. I studied it right down to the cellular level, in fact. One of the boring titles of one of my papers. This is why I chose marketing. It's way more fun. So we started, 9 years. I should have said 9 years. We started Motiliti about 9 years ago. And our first product was a video that didn't have any borders or frame around it. And it floated over top of a website. It was a software trick. It was very popular at the time to have this kind of transparent surrounding around the video. It makes it look like the person is floating above it and they're talking to you. We've all seen it now. We've probably all been aggravated by it many times. No one ever more aggravated by me because I had to see it every day of my life. Multiple times on every client site. That video had 4 critical functions in a client's website. And now keep in mind, because it was a very inexpensive product, we had to sell a lot of these things to grow our company. I had to spend a lot of time getting to know a company's overall USP, what they wanted to push with their website, what was the call to action, who might be coming to the website, so who am I talking to? I had to spend a lot of time talking to this business owner, understanding really the entire scope of their web marketing message to create a 30 to 45 second video. Now, I didn't have to, because the business owner thought they knew what they wanted to say. They wanted to say things like, "Hi, welcome to my website. Browse around. I hope you enjoy it. You can do this and you can do that," and spend 15 seconds greeting somebody. We had to stop them and say, "Look, this is not the best use for this." And we found that there were critical functions of, first, we had to identify from the owner who was coming. Second, we had to hook the visitor into the site with our copy. Essentially, we had to become copywriters. We had to convey the person's USP, the unique selling proposition for that company. So we had to understand their brand message and find the thing that they really sold rather than what people thought they were selling. And finally, we had to create a call to action and convert people to some kind of a lead or sale. We had to do all that. We had to do it in 30 to 45 seconds. And I literally wrote about 5,000 of these scripts over the course of the 8 years. You guys have heard of Malcolm Gladwell or the 10,000 hours theory of mastery, right? I spent 10,000 hours doing this for a very inexpensive product, unfortunately. But I got to know their entire their strategy. And we had a performance guarantee that said they're going to get better results or we're going to reshoot the video for free. So we got to know a lot about their business, because a lot of times they said, "This is not working." And we looked and we said, "This is not the problem. You got 50 visitors last month. That's the problem." So we learned a lot about their processes. Found that there are 6 basic things that cause the websites to fail, their web marketing to fail. They weren't tracking anything. You asked them, "How many visitors are you getting a month?" "Oh, I don't know." They didn't know who their visitors were. What were they searching for? What products? What keywords? They didn't know where their visitors were coming from. Were they coming from social media? Were they coming from Google? Were they coming from a link in somebody's website? Or just simply they had a lack of traffic. And a lack of traffic I would consider to be anything under 100 visitors a month. You are going to not make it. You're not going to generate sales from your website. They didn't have any messaging. Their differentiator was not coming through on the website. And we're going to talk a lot about that in a minute. And finally, there was no call to action. Again, if you got a video that spends 15 seconds saying, "Hi, welcome to the site, browse around," telling someone to browse around, which is what you do on the internet anyway. How many people here, if you heard that message, "Hi, welcome to my site, I hope you enjoy it," would just disregard the remainder of this message as worthless? Everybody in this room. And every business owner started their script. Here's what I want you to say. Every one of them started with that. We said, "Look, they're only going to give you 5 or 6 seconds. Let's not waste it on this." I keep wanting to simplify things, right? So let's take those 6 things and let's simplify it to 2 things. Traffic and conversion. You need traffic to your website and you need to convert the traffic. Now, is one of them more important than the other one? Most business owners believe that web traffic is the problem. I got to get more traffic. I got to get more traffic. And they focus a lot on that. And let me ask you this. Which one of these sides do you think costs more money? Getting more traffic or making the website work better?
Getting more traffic.
And how often do you have to spend the money to get more traffic? Every day. You spend this money once. So really the reality is it's 50-50. You don't have either one of these, you're in the same boat. If you don't have conversion, you got tons of traffic, it's a bad numbers game. If you got lots of traffic, you have no conversion, again, you're still in you have the same problem. So let's talk about conversion. Let's just look at the numbers. So first off, you buy some web traffic, you bring it to your website, and let's first off dispose of the myth that there's any such thing in this world called free traffic. Free web traffic. You know, Justin Bieber got lucky on YouTube and became a billionaire. There's only one Justin Bieber who gets to do that. Everybody now, I want my video to go viral. And there's no such thing. You have to pay to bring people to your site. And this is a modern myth that people can start businesses and for the first time in business history don't have to spend any money to acquire new clients. They're just going to come to them, right? Now they come to your website. This traffic, you expose the traffic to your message. They come to your website. A conversion, which is like a lead or a sale, is made up of micro conversions. Things that you want them to do on the path to becoming a lead. What would the first micro conversion be? Any guess? Just the simplest one. They're at your website.
Get their email address.
That's a macro.
Click on something.
Yeah, we can even go further and say,
move the mouse.
Could you just stay for 30 seconds? Right? That'd be a micro conversion. We can have KPIs or key performance indicators and measure all the steps leading up to the conversion so we can optimize each of those steps, like hurdles on a race. So eventually we can get down to that one lead. And now, how many of these have to come in here to turn into one lead? The average conversion rate nationwide across all industries is about 2.7% for search. So 3 people out of every 100 will turn into a lead. That's the average. So that's a pretty big wide range though. How do I turn this into 2? I say, well, 1's not enough for me. So I got to turn that into 2 or 3. That means what do I have to do to this? I got to pay for 2 or 3 times of it, right? If I want to get another one of those, I'm going to have to pay for 2 times the traffic. Or I can just focus on getting more micro conversions and more macro conversions. I can change the website and track and see what their behaviors are. Now, wouldn't it be beautiful if it was just as simple? I've got a product, and then you say, oh, here's my money, and on the internet. And we would love it if it was that simple. Unfortunately, you're competing with like 10 to 20 others who are selling the same exact service on page 1 of Google. Now by 10, there's 10 organic listings. Those are the free listings. When we do SEO, that's what we're trying to get into that group. And now there's 7 paid listings. And then there's some map listings. And if you have a product that's sold, an e-commerce product, there's going to be some Google shopping listings as well. So it's a pretty large set. And to kind of put this into perspective, imagine that you wanted to open a shoe store in this mall. But it's not just 9, it's 20. 20 side-by-side shoe stores in the same mall. One door after the next with signs that say shoes. First off, we wouldn't open the shoe store in this mall, right? But we are forced to. This is it. There's some behaviors we could expect from shoppers. They'd spend a long time looking in some windows, wouldn't they? They wouldn't even set foot in one of the stores. They'd just be like trying to make a decision without having to invest more time. They would pop in and out so quickly so they can check as many as they can. Now, am I describing your online search behaviors, by the way? Don't you have your cursor over the back button already, almost before you go into the site? Buyer's remorse would kick in long before they purchase. In other words, as soon as I make this purchase, buy these shoes here, I officially can't buy shoes in another store that might be a better deal for me. Darn. I really feel anxiety about making this decision because there's so many choices. Finally, the moment you step into a store, you're already looking for a reason to leave. You're walking in and you go, right away, if I don't see an overwhelming reason to stay, I'm leaving. Now, I coined a term for this years ago. I call it back pressure. Not like your back pressure. What's back pressure? It is the force pushing somebody back out of a website to the Google search results page. A person is already biased to leave your site before they even enter it. They already know they don't want to be there and they haven't gotten in there yet. Because the 10 plus search results on the page they just came from has more promise of clarity than any one website they enter. Now, does that make sense? Does that, again, match your search behaviors? Do you not trust websites when you go in that they're going to have what you really need? I'll share one little piece of, I'll be vulnerable for a moment. I'm attention challenged myself. I'm one of those individuals, which is perfect because we have to design for an attention challenged world. We've got to pretend everybody's got ADD. So I'm the perfect person to look at a person's website. So websites then are not brochures, they're like billboards. There are rules about billboards, about outdoor advertising. You got 6 seconds, basically. If they can't read your message in 6 seconds, or about 6 words, you got too much on your billboard. That's a website. They're not driving 60 miles an hour when they look at your website, but their eyes are. They're ADD, they're attention challenged, and their fingers on the back button. You've got seconds to prove that you are the perfect solution for them. 6 seconds is what the... Now, recent data shows that the adult attention span now is about 8 seconds. Which, by the way, I forgot what other animal it was. It was like a mouse or something, has a longer attention span. I forgot. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Now this is the really cool part. They are billboards, but then they become brochures. If they decide to stay, they have to be also a brochure. They have to have deep content. And eventually, they become a telephone as a conduit, a communication conduit to you. So you've got to walk that tightrope of doing all of these things. Yes?
So are websites now being built differently than they were built 2, 3, 5 years ago?
Yes. The way I used to put this is back in the early age of the internet, it was so cool to have a site that people would read every word in there. You know, it was like, wow, I'm going to read the about page. I used to give a seminar on this. This was 9 years ago. I even talked about this. But I showed a picture of a Craigslist ad. I said, show me the about page on this Craigslist ad. They're selling stuff. Where's their about page? We all think there's these rules about website design. Well, we got to have the services and the about. Who came up with these rules? Are they really related to the marketing function of the website? I doubt it. They were come up with by web designers who ask a business owner who they're the enemy. I can't listen to them. They're the ones who said, well, we should tell my story about, my family and my whatever. So you're the worst person to talk about your website because you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. And you're all in your own bottle. I'm in my bottle. Just, what's the old story about carpenters work on their own house last, right? So you can't read your own label, and neither can your friends or family. So ignore them too. If I had a newspaper ad I'm getting ready to run, it was Mike. Yeah. And I went, hey Mike, take a look at that ad. Tell me what you think. Mike just became the worst person in the world to look at my ad. I just violated the whole theory of advertising, didn't I? It's supposed to intrude in your world, grab your attention, basically steal it, make you read it, compelling you to read it by the copy. But I just said, do me a favor, read that. Oh, okay, let me look at that for you. It's now, I can't tell anymore if it's a good ad because I've ruined you. Same thing with the website. You tell someone, look at my website. They don't know how to evaluate it. Oh, that looks nice. That's clean looking. And they don't know even what they look for when they go into websites. That's what we have to figure out today is what they're looking for. Imagine if we had a Rotten Tomatoes website for websites. That would be great. When here's a page from my website. Imagine I get to go, oh my God, everybody's throwing tomatoes at my website. That's what we need though. We need to be able to see, not send it to people in our office and say, what do you think? Building a website is daunting, right? And business owners think of it as like a 50-story building. We're going to build the Sears Tower, right? It's going to last for 100 years. It's unmoving. We're going to plan everything out, and there are not going to be any unknowns when we're done. Is that what a website is? A website is a sailboat. Would you buy a sailboat? Anybody in here sailor? Would you buy a sailboat, Jim, that had the mast bolted in place? Of course not. So let's plan out which way the wind's going to blow, and that's what we'll know we're bolted down right here, and that's what it's always going to be. We don't know that. We don't know the wind direction. It has to be able to adapt, and the responsiveness of the thing is the power of it. That's a website. So we have to listen to the people who know the most. By the way, who knows the most about what your website should have in it? Don't answer me. I have a good guess, but yes, your visitors are the only ones, and you got to listen to them. And we listen to them with metrics, with tracking, with analytics. So let's look at one of my clients. I did not build this website, but we handle their digital marketing. Their pay-per-click ads, their banner ads, their Facebook ads, their remarketing. We handle all that. So they sell a bed. They send it in a box. What some other companies do, like Lisa. Have you heard of some other ones? Casper, I think, is another one. It's a bed in a box. You open it up, it flops out there. They have a kind of a special thing where they donate a bed. For every bed you buy, they donate one to a homeless shelter. So let's analyze this. So you hand it to somebody, hey, take a look at my site. And this is what the friend or family member would say. Oh, this is simple, it's clean, it's direct, it's a beautiful website. But is there anything here that's going to convince you in 6 seconds with 20 shoe stores around you to buy a bed here? But see, already you guys are more sophisticated than you've ever been about websites already. I could have convinced you that this is a great site. Look how clean and simple. We all might have said, it is simple and clean. But as soon as you start opening your eyes to, wait a minute, I would not personally buy a bed here, I think. So here's the first thing to take notes on. Our first rubric for conversions. A website has to instantly tell you the category of the product. The product itself. No, so for instance, what's Harley Davidson? What's its category?
Rebel.
No, that's the product. The category is motorcycle. The product is freedom, right? The product is lifestyle. Look at all their events. What are they called? Freedom rallies, freedom rides.
Hospitalization.
You have to communicate why this site. You can do it with logos. Here's the people we work with. You can do it with testimonials. You can do it with just the sheer, like the imagery that you're using and somehow convey your reputation that way. Case studies, although this is homepage stuff, so we've got to lock them in the beginning. So logos are an unconscious trigger. So in marketing, you have central route persuasion and you have peripheral route. Central route means you communicate to them in a rational way, make your decision rationally based upon these facts. Peripherals, like Michael Jackson drinking a Coke or a Pepsi. It was a Pepsi, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Dancing and then drinking a Pepsi. It amps people up and then they show the product. That's peripheral route. So logos are a peripheral route attack where you're basically just throwing down logos everywhere that they recognize so that they just inherently trust you. You have to give them a next step. If they don't know what it is you want them to do, kind of recommend that they do first or next, they'll leave because they don't know what to do. And finally, I have this term I use, I call the everyone button. I had a client, I said, look, put your prices, let's show them your prices. It was we call it data center. No one else is showing their prices. Well, let's put a button right here. Will you tell them your prices? Yeah, I tell them on the phone. I said, well, let's tell them. Put your button here. But everybody will click that button.
Yes.
Think how crazy, right? I'm like, and? No, I'm not doing it. So, but the point is, if you have an everybody button and you give them the obvious next step and the next step happens to join with their everyone button idea, you win. The closer you can merge those two things together, what you want and what they want, if you can give them what they want on the path to giving you what you want, which is their information, you're going to get a lot more conversions. So let's go back to the site. What category is it? Well, it's sleep stuff, right? What are they selling? A mattress. But look, who wants to buy a green mattress? Who wants to buy a faded blue mattress? Somebody with Photoshop was really proud of this. Why buy them? Nothing, right? What's the next step? Shop now. And we're all used to shop now, though. That's not even too special. Their beds cost $900 to $1,200. $1,200 for like a king. What's the conversion rate on this site? Would you expect a good one?
0.5%.
Worse. E-commerce sites, about 1% would be, you're doing a good job. It's a high dollar item though. 0.3% conversion rate. They're spending $750 to sell a single bed. Now, these guys, they're in their startup phase. They won't make it past 3 to 6 months. They've got a lot of money. The guy owns a car dealership who opened this site. So, he's got 3 months. He's, let's check it out. But they're just not going to make it. So we right away said, look, I know we're just your digital marketing guys, and I know your buddy built this website. Please listen to us. First change they made. Doubled the conversion rate. Now their cost per acquisition is down to $375. This is at a $900 to $1,200 bed. This is almost a survivable model. Except remember what their special thing that they do? They give a free bed away. So they got to get it lower than that, and they're not going to make it again, or they're going to have to change that deal. Next rubric we're going to use. Eliminate all questions in their head. You do not want, I call them brain bubbles or thought bubbles. People come to your site and they say things like, hey, where's the price maybe? Where's the price? Why is it called that? You don't want to have a why is it called that in there. What am I supposed to do? What page am I on? Now that's not the home page, but an internal page has to pass the same test. And what's the first step? You don't want to create questions in their mind. So this is just one more, add this to your list, just to check personas. There's 4 different kind of personas that come to websites. Everybody in this room, I don't know what you are, you can identify yourself. There's a group of people that love facts and numbers. They're methodical, analytical people. There's people who's competitive. Are you the best? Will I be the best when I hire you? What do others think about you? They read reviews, testimonials. They interpret it that way. And finally, instant gratification crew that says, I need it. Give me a white paper, give me a download, whatever. Typically, since we all are just one of those people, when we build a website, guess who we build it for? Ourselves. And so we're trying to force numbers and data down the throat of somebody who wants to read testimonials. You remember that old saying, you catch more flies with sugar than vinegar, right? Don't try to force, let them pick the things that they want to look at. Here's a nice site. Look how this company went through and filled out this. What category? Decluttering. What are they selling? Get organized. That's what they're selling. Organization. A new start on the year, right? Logos. Look. It's just like they went right down a checklist. Next step. You can't miss it. There it is. Get the sales price. Makes you question, I wonder what their prices are. Well, there it is. Go find out. What's the sale price? Get it today. About a month ago, this instead said, get free help now for the holidays. And it switched over right after the first of the year. It doesn't leave me any questions. I know right what she wants me to do. I trust. I see what the product is. So that's the whole thing in a nutshell. The only new parts here for you guys that I added are this. Scan and skim. Put that on your list. Every page has to have scannable and skimmable content. Scan and skim. What's that mean? That means when I look at a website, I'm scanning to see the sections and things that I can do. I'm skimming. Once I finally decide to look at something, I skim. And what do I read? Headlines. Headlines have to tell the tale. You have to, if the headlines don't tell the story, you lost them. From the headline, I go, oh, that's the part that interests me. Even your testimonials, gang. Testimonials need a headline. I see a page full of testimonials. How many of you have seen page fulls of testimonials and haven't read any of them? But if I look down and see headlines, best thing I've ever done in my life. Or oh, I got to read that. That's how you pull them in. Scannable and skimmable. Bullets, headlines, call out quotes, all those kinds of things. Plan on ADD. Biggest frustration is my web marketing is not working. Here's the thing though. It is for somebody. People are looking and people are buying. They're just not buying from you. And that's, while frustrating, it's information. It tells you what you're saying, no one's listening to. What you're offering, no one's buying. You just got to say it differently. You got to figure out what they want and then you win. Benchmarks. I told you earlier, 2.7% is the national average of conversion rate. And this is all the different, these up here are search, these down here are banners, like banner ads. You can see that they're smaller than these, so the conversion rate for banners are, well, that's good. Banners are way cheaper too, in terms of traffic. Do you want to see a website that has a 13.5% conversion rate?
You think it's a porn site or what?
Yeah. So my other life, I teach martial arts. I've been teaching for 30 years. I own 2 schools in Austin. I teach there just a couple nights a week. I know those people very well. I know this. I've been teaching for 30 years. I know how to communicate. I know what they want, inside and out. This website generates 200 leads per month in Austin. I get name, email, phone number, mailing address, and program of interest in every one of those emails, those leads, and I'm paying $12 per lead. I know that number every time I get that, $2,000 or $3,000 bill from Google. Kills me. And then I remember, oh yeah, I'm getting hundreds of leads, so it's okay. So if you can get the conversion rate on your site and you own your number, 3%, 4%, you can start to make calculations, say, I can pay this much for traffic to get that. And then it's just fun. I'll end you with a quote from, like Don Draper from Mad Men, right? David Ogilvy, you heard of David. It's a great quote. I once used the word obsolete in a headline only to discover that 43% of housewives had no idea what it meant. In another headline, I used the word ineffable only to discover I didn't know what it meant myself. Now, I want to be the modern day David Ogilvy, so I got to pare this down for the attention-challenged world. So that's my quote right there. Nobody hates clarity. And thanks, everybody. So marketing and sales do go hand in hand, and thanks for watching.